Martin Dos Santos Pinto. Player number 11, Sokuba Sise. Player number 16, Gibson Cristal. Player 19, Emilio Bongola. Player number 22, Japet Pinheiro. Player number 23, Kenji Ishoka. Player number 57, Dylan Alain De Broyke. Player number 77, Sue Brown. The head coaches, Kim Christine Gonzalez. For youth national team, player number 31, James Rafael Sandejas. Player number 23, Brian Villanueva. Player number 28, John B. Sarai. Player number 29, Alexander Santos. Player number 30, Martin Jose Medina. Player number 23, Raquel Alfonso Lobby. Player number 43, Dom Anthony Carino. Player number 71, Ken Brian Venezuela. Player number 77, Edgar Abbas Jr. Player number 98, Ramil Bastion III. Player number 99, Caleb Gino Libate. The substitutes are player number 22, Lawrence Albert Cortona. Player number 37, Miguel Javier Vinson. Player number 38, Ryan B. Player number 40, Edward James Comitado. Player number 41, Cian Gabriel Garcia. Player number 45, Montaño Alan Densu. Player number 47, Sean Kendrick Saludos. Player number 88, Carl Absalon. Player number 91, Selvin Migos Mamo. The head coaches, Sergi Mascarella. The referees, John Mike Basina. The assistant referees are Ismael Pastor and King Doren Abron. The fourth official is Jesus Abogado. The referee assessor is Ravelo Salud. The match listener is Karim Antaliwa. This match is under the supervision and regulation of the Games and Amusement Board.
Lipat niya sa 2 yung live. Lipat mo sa 2.
Lipat daw yung live. Okay.
Okay na? Don, tayo ka lang. Tayo ka lang. Pose ka lang dyan. Stop. Sige pa. Okay, stop.
Auto-focus daw po, boss. Ito po.
Okay, okay.
Yan. Focus na.
Pau, pag hindi nila mapagana yan,
Uno na.
pero pag hindi nyo mapagana to,
Okay.
ito na lang.
Wait mo naman.
Oo, para dun sa panel. Tapos dos ka sa
Uno.
march in.
Tapos 3-4 sa team.
Dos muna. Kasi kung hindi gagana yan, ito na muna. Itong pa-flag. Dos ang magpa-flag. Tapos, babad ka lang ng dos. Oh.
When it comes to interviews only?
So, pag panel, so, OBB,
Yeah.
tapos panel, ikaw.
Okay.
Tapos graphics. After graphics, balik sa'yo.
Okay.
Pagkabalik sa'yo, pag march in, dos. Tapos pwede ka nang tutok sa field.
Okay.
Tapos pag dito. Maganda just to just to.
Pagkatapos
Para sige.
marching, doon na ako sa
Pwede ka gitna. Maganda gitna. Tas, maganda yung gitna si Boss Laro. Boss, para pantay. Ako po. Babae. Yan.
Yan.
Picture mo na, uy. Tawa dyan. Ako po, sa ganda. Ako kaya uso na rin to, no? Sa
Oo.
akin pala. Mamaya na lang bago.
I will put the camp here. No problem, no?
No problem. Basta wag ka pumesto dyan.
Aakyat ka mamaya. Dito.
Ha?
O ano, kapag nagpana ako, okay na lang makita.
Hindi. Pag nasa gitna ka na, uusip ko. Doon,
Okay.
pag. Time 17, right? Kanina. U19. Nasa akin ba? Sagad pa to eh. Maliwalag na. Don King si Don King. Don King yung ano nila, i-chip nila. Yung wire. Para di makita. Ayos. Nag-receive mo.
So 1.5 sila, 1.5 sila sa camera.
Yung wire nila yung medyo sa para di makita.
As it looks now,
Looks good na po.
Tapos lang mo. Kunin mo ano.
Oh.
Good afternoon as we bring you your Philippines Football League action. But first and foremost, before we preview our teams right here, we are going to introduce our guest commentators for this one. Claro Manzano here to bring the commentary. And to my left is we've got Olivia McDaniel, and then to my right we've got Chanter McDaniel. Guest commentators again, they'll be breaking down the action. How's it going, everyone? Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us. This is a very exciting day for us. We love being able to commentate the PFL and getting to be here, especially with Claro. It's really fun, so we're very excited.
I appreciate the support, of course. Chandler, you're coming off that camp, right, with the Filipinas that took place in Mall of Asia. How'd the whole thing go?
The camp was really good. I mean, it's always nice to have a camp in our home country and to be supported by all of our fans here. It was really good just to be back with the team, but, you know, we're also very excited to be here with you today.
Thanks a lot, of course. We can't wait for this to get started. Let's recall, we did call a Copa game together also, so you guys are no stranger to this. Olivia, you've got experience covering the basketball team in your University, right? Back in the United States. I was looking forward to seeing the McDaniel sisters go against each other actually in the Filipinas camps. I was slightly disappointed when I found out that you guys were teammates, but of course it was the World Cup squad playing together. But when we get onto it with our game, we've got Manila Digger FC and the youth national team. It's been a difficult campaign for the youth national team, but then again, it's all about developing here. But for Manila Digger, being a full-fledged professional team, when we take a look at our schedule, but with Manila Digger being a full-fledged professional team, they are out to secure spots in the AFC. When we have our schedule for today, after this game between the youth national team and Manila Digger, it will be Benjola FC 1991 and Stallion Laguna. A full slate right here, and then we will get on to our league table in a bit also. But I would like to think it's a fine day for football, overcast, not too much sun, and not everyone's a fan of the rain. But let's get to it with the table. And Chandler, if you take a look here, any impressions on how the table is shaping up with the league?
I mean, it's pretty close towards the 4th, 5th, so, excited to see what happens. And then, of course, excited to see what happens with Diggers today.
And which, let's remind everyone also, maybe you could break that down for us, Olivia. Things change a little bit because the top 4 will advance to the final series. That is how we are going to determine who's going to be winning this entire tournament. That's a lot difficult from like the league format.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's also a little bit more on the line with the top 4. I mean, the winner of the finals goes to win on the spot for Shopee Cup, so I think there's a lot more on the line, especially with the battle at the top of the table. But I mean, it's still exciting to see, and I think at the end of the day, it's still anyone's game.
And I will not put you in the hot seat and ask who do you think is going to win the PFL. We have plenty of time as we'll be covering games, but we'll have our starting 11 in a bit also with our two teams competing today. Number 2 Digger again scoring off with number 9 Youth National Team, and it's that starting 11. And it's a 4-3-3 formation. Chandler, I believe you've been studying hard to break down this team, right? But you know some of these names. Let's put it that way.
Yes, some of the names do look familiar. I believe some of them used to be on Stallion, but it's always good to see a strong team come out. I mean, even though the starting goals or the leading goal scorer, Sase, isn't in, there's still some really strong forwards in, and I think that it's a very strong lineup, and I'm excited to see how they're going to do today.
Sekou Cisse is on the bench. We'll talk about our conversation with him as the match will go on. And then look out for Ziggy Taninko. He is playing right back and it's been on a roll actually, racking up assists here and there. But let's get on to the PFF Youth National Team. They're preparing for the SEA Games, as we've mentioned. And Olivia, can you take us through this young squad?
Yeah, so they've got a very young squad out today, highlighting some players, the center back duo of Santos and Mourinho. They're pretty much been paired together for a while, and I'm excited to see how well they do today, as it might be a more defensive lineup for them against a number 2 side in Manila Digger. But also with Valenzuela and Aban up top, I mean, they were goal scorers last weekend, so excited to see how they do and turn out today.
Valenzuela and Aban, 2 players from the UAAP ranks, particularly with FEU. Let's see if they will be able to find the back of the net once more, as we are eventually going to close in on our pre-match walk-in. Well, let's see first, of course. But with our starting 11 done and dusted, let's see. It's all to play for in this one, and we'll get some extra insights for sure with Chandler McDaniel and Olivia McDaniel breaking down the action right here in your Philippines Football League action right here on matchday.ph. Here we go. It is on to our toss coin, and we will take a look at our team captains in a bit. And we do see there is Dean Ibarle for Manila Digger, and we've got Joshua Merino for the youth national team. And let's get with our officials in this or for this match. We've got John Mike Basinang, siya po ay ang ating referee ngayon, si Ismael Pasion. At sila Kim Zoren Abuela ay ang ating assistant referee, si Jesus Abogado ay ang fourth official, si Ravelo Saluria ay ang referee assessor, and Miss Karine Ann Kaliway ay ang ating match commissioner. And our commentators for this game, once more, we've got Olivia McDaniel and Chandler McDaniel. Pre-game, and do you girls mind telling us what happens at this point? Do you have someone doing all the talking or someone giving an inspirational speech that will change my life? What happens at this point?
Usually, for us, either Olivia or I will say something when we're with Stallion, and we're kind of just pumping each other up. There's some yelling. We're just getting ready to go play the game.
With the national team, I'd say I try to get some words of wisdom in there right before our kickoff, but after that we're shouting Laban to try and get everyone ready to go and out onto that field.
Filipinos Laban, right? That's what I can remember
Yes.
from your previous games also. So it's you who do the talking, Liv. Is that right?
Yeah, maybe a little bit here and there.
She's a keeper.
Get one, yeah.
Everyone has to listen
I'll be
to
speaking
them,
the
so.
whole game, so.
That's right. You're coordinating with your back line, of course. As there's Ziggy Taninko, and then we've got Jaime Sandejas. Taninko playing right back, and then Sandejas playing in goal. Perfect. I saw him in the parking lot on the way home after they played Stallion. And I'm saying this for a good reason. Because I asked him, what grade is he? He said he's only in 10th grade.
Oh my.
And he's playing here already at this massive stage. And Taylor Barnes kicked off this game. And we've got the youth national team. They're in their gray and black. And Manila Digger in red and white. Early stages, and it seems the Y&T, as we also call them, are trying to get forward quickly. And Chandler, how do you warm up for a game, especially as a striker?
How do I warm up? Personally, I need to make sure I shoot, because if I don't get any shots in before the game, they usually suck for the first 5 minutes.
As this looping ball was easily secured by Mike Asong. Welcome back to Michael Asong, because he was out of the PFL scene for a while and actually moved abroad. But it's great to see a Filipino talent like him here. And Olivia, let's get into the shoes of Mike Asong. He got that ball right away, and he linked up with his backline.
Mm-hmm. Something I tried to do well with my backline, but sometimes people underestimate how well I am with my feet.
I remember when you played striker, which is not your usual position.
No, definitely not.
You had a game in the Women's Cup, and then I was telling you I expected you to score, but you said you were no stranger to also playing out in the field. Isn't that right?
That's very true. I used to play out in the field when I was younger, but I don't think I had the endurance to stay out there, so I was put in the goalkeeper position by my father.
But you were saying you do have the skills training, right? Because you would work out with Chandler, also with Finn.
Yeah.
When you guys would just be at home, right? Just
Yeah.
do your skills training.
I'd make sure that I can do everything any player on the field could do, just so I have that extra little something to differentiate myself.
I assume that helps you get into the mind of a striker, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Chandler, any plans to play goalkeeper?
You don't want to see me in the goal. I'll break a nail.
They couldn't get forward behind Edgar Aban. And Chandler, it's a 4-3-3. A lot difficult from, let's say, playing like a 4-4-2, 3 strikers up front, as opposed to 2. Does that change your mentality when you're being lined up for a game?
Yeah, I mean, the difference with one striker and two strikers is just how the one striker gets to move, so it's just based off movement.
Well, it was off the camera. We did see one of the members of the Y&T is on the ground. It's Brian Villanueva. How often do you see a guy like him goes down? He's built tough.
These young PFF young men are pretty tough out there, I'd say. All the UAAP All-Stars. It's good to see them all out there together and trying to gel together.
Yeah, we were talking about it. UAP All Stars because a great number of them play in that competition together.
Yeah.
There's players from FEU, UP, also Ateneo. So here's Jarvis trying to get involved. And Olivia, you get a front row seat to this when there's build up from the back, right? So can you walk us through what Digger's trying to do at the moment?
I think Diggers is trying to make sure that they've got some of their players stepping into pockets to help pull some PFF players out of position, as we've got PFF pressing their back line. But I think they're just trying to move the ball back and forth on that back line to try and pull some players out of position so they can try and slip that ball in through some spots and get that ball forward to their front line.
Well, with all of that happening, Chandler, how are you trying to get involved as that striker, linking up with the midfield? Because you did say you want to get involved within the first 5 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. Usually you're just trying to find the open spaces. You don't have to move too much at the beginning when it's with the goalkeeper, but you're just trying to find the gaps and stuff so that if it does get moved forward, you can be in good spaces to attack the goal.
Well said, as this one will go out for a throw-in. As expected, Villanueva built tough. Jordan Jarvis, a bit of that holding against Libarnes. A bit of the turn. Will he cross? Well, I'm sure with you, Chandler, playing against so many different national teams, right? Especially in that build-up to the World Cup. Perhaps, well, let's hold that first. As it's another YNT player. And Brian Villanueva and Wamba Tafem is booked. He gets a yellow card. And just going back, sometimes you're bigger than your opponents, and sometimes you're smaller, right?
Yeah.
So in this instance, the youth national team is smaller against everybody in the PFL. I hear some light moments though from the Digger bench, but there is that replay. So it will be Mourinho to send this. Joshua sends it in. Well, it's collected by Asong. You know, Mourinho was actually at MOA to catch you guys play. I did run into him at the bleachers. Out wide now. Ebere Mokata inside the box. And this is definitely skied and out. It did not trouble Sandejas at all. Unideal, but as that striker, Chandler, would you still count that as that touch to help you, if you get what I'm saying?
I would. I mean, as a striker, your job is to go to goal. I mean, we don't have to be perfect. I think if you take 10 shots and you only score one, you still did your job. So I think any shot on goal, even if they may sky it, is still a good opportunity.
And growing into the game, of course, right? Then you miss the shots you don't take, as they say. As cliche as that may sound.
I always tell everyone we're paid to miss goals too, so always shoot.
No one's perfect.
That's Olivia's job.
Never try, you never know. Whoa, that's Olivia's job as the goalkeeper. We'll talk about that one in a bit. Well, Olivia, you were breaking down one of the previous chances of Digger. Well, Chandler, with youth national team in possession, do you mind telling us what's going on from your perspective?
Yeah, I'd say the PFF it looks as though trying to do anything they can to get into this box and get down this field. And by all means, I think they're being a lot more aggressive and on the front foot at the beginning of this game. And I think it's paying off a bit. They've got a bit of chances, and this game seems to be going, a bit back and forth, but not as lopsided as maybe some may have thought.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about in the striker's perspective now. Let's get it over to Chandler. We got to talk to the man himself, right? Sekou Cisse, the Golden Boot leader. Hey, who has more goals than games, right?
Yeah,
Sekou
it's a pretty
Cisse
impressive
does.
stat. 16 goals in
11 games,
I
that's
think.
right. Yep.
That's always good as a striker. I mean, just having one goal a game is impressive. So having 16 and 11 is an impressive feat. I am jealous of his stat. I will not lie. That's not easy.
Olivia, may you take us through the replay?
Yeah, we've got Kevin driving down that line, and it seems the ball seemed to have gotten away from him.
I'm sure not everyone is built the same, or not everyone has the same play style. Don't you guys think?
Yeah, I think when pieces of the puzzle have to shift around, I mean, there's got to be some things that you've got to change on the fly and be able to work with it. And things happen in games, and there's sickness and injury, and you've got to make sure you can count on those substitutes to step up whenever you need them to.
Well, with you, Chandler, being a central midfielder, you can't always go, Liv, give me the ball.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper getting it to you. So how do you have to adapt whenever you're not playing with certain players here and there, whether it be for the national team or the club, due to suspensions, or maybe even having to make substitutions?
I mean, every player on the team is always important, but everyone has different strengths, so you just have to make sure that you're playing to every player's strength to make sure that the team gets the best outcome.
And close but not quite for Digger. They're still hanging, but the flag is up. This one is not gonna count.
Oh.
It was offside. So no good here for Kevin Ebenemukata, who is a player you guys are familiar with. Olivia, may you take us through the replay?
It seems as though we just a tad bit offsides. It seems as though the youth national team may or may not have kept Kevin onside on that play.
It looked very close.
Very close. As there is Villanueva once more. Let's take a look at that again. Chandler, what is your interpretation here?
If they're saying that it was the cross, maybe that Kevin was offsides. If his shoulder might have been a little bit in front, but there's no VAR, so I'm not sure.
There's no VAR to rub us like that goal of Kat Giyu. People still not over that until now, if you know what I'm saying.
You didn't even need VAR for that one.
It seems the youth national team may have gotten lucky with that play, I think.
Breaks of the game, as we know. That happens from time to time. Sandejas, Jodis forward. Off of Jordan Jarvis. Digger hitting it wide. Valenzuela dropping down to help. He will yield possession to Manila Digger.
I think Manila Digger is going to try and take advantage of the youth national team being down a man, as they've got someone injured down on the sideline.
Seems that is Brian Villanueva who's still out. So that's why Valenzuela had to drop down from left wing to left back. Ziggy Tanico couldn't connect with Modu Mane. Noifelonco. Flag down in this scenario. Wamba Tafem appeared to get a corner kick for them here. So let's put it this way. Let's run through our top leaders when it comes to goal scoring. So there's Sekou Sisi, right, whom we highlighted earlier with 16. There's Shuto Komaki with 9 goals to his name. And then Modu Mane actually at third. He's got 8 goals. If we go with number 4, there's Rico Andes, a certain Finn McDaniel, and then there's Usman Guy. They have 7 each. They're number 4.
Wow.
Yeah, the Diggers have a lot of the leading goal scorers, but they still have a lot of goals spread out for the whole team.
Yes, that was another close one. They're constantly knocking on the door now. It was that corner kick that allowed him to get very dangerous, given I presume they have the physical advantage. And Kevin, as you guys fondly call him, is getting into the mix. Here's his corner kick. Olivia, do you mind doing the honors?
Yeah, it was a good ball sent in the box. Sandejas decided to stay on his line and to defend, and almost got that ball tucked in right in over his head, just barely missing over the top. A good opportunity for Manila Digger.
It seems they're really going for Wamba Tafin up front. Sandejas was tested, but that ball is hit out for a home run though. by Digger, and it's Mane. I think he wants goal number 9. He wants to get into second place in the top scorer race. Here's another look at that. What do you have to say about this one, Chandler?
I mean, it was a good opportunity, good shot. I think you're right. He wants on the scoreboard tonight, and I think if he keeps it up, he could get one.
And they need to keep that up, as there is going to be a sub. Villanueva cannot continue. And then we do see that Bengson just entered the game. So it's Miguel Bengson entering in the number 37 jersey. He will play that left back role. But quickly now, after Valenzuela. Can he connect with Dov Carino? People may recall actually Dov Carino was one of 2 players from the UAP called up in the ASEAN Mitsubishi Electric Cup. And his captain and his teammate back in Ateneo, Leo Makiling, was also called up to that team. Makiling actually with Cebu FC. So Cebu FC will be playing at 6 p.m. later on. They will face Kaya FC. So that's big also. That could potentially shake up the table, as it is with the Barley. Let's see how this will go for them. Connecting once more with Modu Mane. Eric Giganto. A flag is up though. How's that mental process, Chandler, of having to comprehend that, oh no, I was called offside? It's part of the game in your perspective, right?
I think most of the time I question if I really was offsides, and then half the time am. So I'm like, well, gotta just readjust and shake it off and move on. It's just part of being a forward. Just you got to hold your line and make sure that you are able to give your team the opportunities when they get you the ball.
And then you'll do more of the thinking later when you watch the replay. That's when you'll really make these fine adjustments, right?
That's when it's like, oh, well, I guess it was me. Until then, though, I won't blame myself.
Of course. So it's a throw in here. So we were highlighting Taninco earlier. So there's actually a triple tie for second place when it comes to the assists category. So there's Modu Mane, Ziggy Taninco, and Usman Guy with 4 assists each so far in this season. Digger has been working like a well-oiled machine as Taninco knocked this one wide. Mane. Now, Olivia, can you talk us through what's going on in the perspective of Sandejas? He's a keeper now, and they have to sit back and absorb pressure. How do you see it going in your perspective?
I think as of right now, he's doing a great job. I mean, he had to make that big save a couple of minutes ago, but I think he's managing this game well. I mean, as a goalkeeper, you unfortunately have to let the game come to you, and I think he's done well with what's come at him right now. And as he sends a long ball down the field towards the back line, I think it's just going to be a matter of keeping that ball out of the net and keeping his team in this game.
Yes, and Diaz has had some busy games, come to think of it. As they tried to play it, but it's overhit. They could not play it to Ebere Mokata. Well, with your perspective, Chandler, as a striker, your job's to score, but your team's been defending as of late. So how do you have to adjust and pretty much handle the game or get back into it?
You just have to keep going, and even if one time doesn't happen, you just have to keep going, because the more chances you get, the closer you are to scoring. So even though he's had a couple chances and they haven't been great, he's still having them, and I think he will continue to have chances, and I would be shocked if he doesn't get one at this rate. But we will see. The defense is still doing good, so.
Well, so far so good. We are nearing the 20th minute in this game, more or less goalless. Let's recall that this is a double round robin. Teams get to play each other twice. Sandejas got beaten. He clipped Kevin Ebenemokota. Goal kick though, it seems. We did not get that long whistle and dramatic run from the referee. Who would like to do the honors with this replay we will see in a bit?
No.
I don't see
I don't
anything
think it
there,
was.
Claro.
Yeah. I didn't think so when I saw it live.
That's all clean.
Okay. I'm not the judge, okay? You guys are here to help me with that.
Forwards will do anything they can to try and win a PK, a corner, and they
Very
try to take
true.
advantage of a goalkeeper coming off heavy and hot off their line. So all credit to both parties on that play.
Counter-attack time now for Kent Valenzuela. And the team in dark gray again. Then it is a foul against Digger. They're not happy with that one, but they did get to delay the attack. And we were talking about it with the youth national team trying to get back into it. Here we go. They have a chance to get the ball forward.
Youth national team has had a couple opportunities, couple of free kicks from this range, and have made Michael Asong work from the beginning of this game.
But Asong collected this one again calmly. Eric Giganto. I think it's rubbing off. I want to call him Kevin now, not by his full name, thanks to you guys. But we do see that Bing Son is on the same page as Sandejas, as Digger's miscue there. Has allowed Sandejas to get it. Here's that build-up that they've been looking for. But given away quickly. Here comes Ziggy. Modumane took a fall again. Yeah, I think I saw that one. Don't worry, guys. Chandler, it's your turn, of course. We'll see that replay in a bit with that last play. Digger fans obviously wanted something, but here is that play.
I mean, I thought it was a good hit. He wasn't in the box anyways, but he's doing a really good job getting down this line. He's had a lot of chances to get in some crosses, so I think he's doing really good.
We really see that was Modumane donning the number 12 jersey, trying to get forward, but now it's Kevin Ebene Mukata. Offside again, but there's plenty of frustration. There's Sudiao, I believe, who is in the technical area, not happy.
It's quite a relief watching this game, not as a fan and just as a, third party. Don't have any skin in the game, and I don't have any anxiety when someone's being called offsides and I disagree.
It's a bit of being relaxed, right? If you know what I'm saying. You can look away. You can at least switch off for just a bit because you're not playing. You can't switch off, obviously, if you girls are playing. Regardless, I'm saying like, oh look, there's someone in the stands, there's a celebrity. None of that when you're playing, of course, right?
Yeah, there's absolutely no switching off, especially as being a goalkeeper. I mean, you have every opportunity to not be paying attention as like I said earlier, the game does come to you, and so sometimes you get a bit distracted and, want to take a look around, but you've got to be all focused at all times because you never know what's going to happen.
But with that, when you were playing in the World Cup, I know this question's a little late. How did you stay focused? Because you had a lot of family and friends actually in the stands. First, this ball to the bottom corner, secured easily again by Sandejas. And Bene Mukata, I believe, got that one on target. Well, yeah, let's get it with you, Chandler. How do you focus in a game? It's the World Cup, right? You guys are really dreaming and working hard of getting to that stage. And then you have your family. They're there to support you, but is it in your head, oh no, my family's here, sitting in this certain section near the half line, this and that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fine line between, staying focused but also not like overworking yourself mentally, because it is a lot of pressure and stress that you can put on yourself. So it does help to have family there, just, to help you stay focused and to, remind you that it is fun. It's not all stress. So, I mean, everyone worked so hard to get to the World Cup, and I would imagine it's everyone's dream. So being able to go was, oh, wow.
And it's a superb save once more by the keeper.
Wow, that was really good.
Olivier is applauding that one.
Well done.
That's like one when you shoot it and he probably was like, oh, I'm definitely scoring this. And then the keeper stops it, and then you're just really mad.
By all means, he had every right to score that goal, and Zendejas, he came up big for his team once again.
And Zendejas, as of late, has been that go-to guy for them in that goalkeeper position. As it's with Filonco. It seems that Noy Filonco has dropped down as that 6, and then he's now surrounded by the 2 center backs. But the pressure carries on. Taninko. He may have megged this man right there when we talk about Bengson, but it will still stay with Ziggy and Digger, the team in red and white. No distractions, Olivia, when you were playing, particularly in the World Cup or in any game. None of that. Oh no, my family's here watching. Yes, they're here, but it can be a distraction if you get what I'm saying.
Definitely.
Yeah, good or bad.
I think after game 1, just knowing that they were there, I think is all the motivation that I needed to stay focused. And knowing that they arrived at the stadium and they were in their seats, and I saw them during warm up, I was completely and utterly focused on the task in front of me and being on the biggest stage.
You're definitely wired in, of course. The two of you wired in to play in high level. As this is what we call a home run. Courtesy of Modu Mane. He definitely wants another goal, not just for his tally, but still goalless as we speak.
I think he wants a couple of those back now.
That's right, given that they had a number of opportunities, a number of chances to get forward already. Right, this ball just ricocheted around. Trying to get to Manny once more. Merino getting busy. Edgar Aban. Let's see how the captain will bring them out. Headed to the right with Karaig. They often do have that chemistry, but Karaig just give a thumbs up. What is the thumbs up there? Maybe you'd know, Olivia. Because the ball went out. Why are you saying good job to your teammate?
I think in that sense, the thumbs up isn't, I don't think, a good job. Just in, I know that wasn't a good ball, and I see you, and next one you got it. So just a motivation to do better next time, and you messed up now, but you got to keep going, keep moving forward. There's a lot of game left.
The right idea, just the execution being a little off, right?
Exactly.
Komla resumed it quickly, but yon. That's the UP connection, and Y2 Karaig. Hit the brakes though. There's Dylan Wambatafem in front though. But yon the cross, Jordan Jarvis. And then Felonco. Telling them to slow it down.
A lot of credit to this young youth national team. I mean, coming up against number 2 Manila Digger, and they're still playing out of the back, getting up this field and trying to get some chances in behind, even though Manila Digger has been strong these past couple minutes. I think shows a lot of courage and bravery, and this is a very exciting team to watch and see how this game goes on.
We got to have a chat right down in the ground. There was Coach Sergi Mascarel. Chandler, would you of course, you were part with the chat. Were there any striking points from Coach Sergi? Very interesting, right? Given they're not a professional team, so he did not give us the usual approach of we're going to win here and there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the whole idea to have, this team work and prepare themselves for SEA Games is a great idea. I think there's no better way to do it than to play some of the teams in this league, because this league is good. So I mean, to see all these kids work, and you could just tell how proud he was of his boys, and he just said that we're taking it game by game, and they're just waiting to see if what they can improve on. But I think that they've done some good things, and I mean, just watching them in this game compared to last year, it's a big difference. So it's exciting to watch, like Olivia said.
Eric Giganto actually switched over to the right wing. He started the game in the left. They want to switch it up, of course, given the traffic on the left. But it's a foot race. You do not want to let Wambatafim do this because he thrives. Gets to find Modu Mane. Returned it. Sandeos out. but it's an open goal.
Oh, that was a good defensive run.
Once again, the youth team's defense comes up big for them again against this strong Manila Digger forwards.
So they just got the job done, right?
Wait for a break. Cue mo lang.
But it will be Digger. They will cycle it at the back.
Lumabas bola.
So is it good defense or the Digger just lack that striker's mentality? How do you guys put it?
I think the defense is doing a really good job at all making their recovery runs back.
Yeah.
So they all got beat, but you saw so many of them dropped below and they still made the effort. So I think that they're showing a lot of heart.
So they now have to convert or transition from defense to offense. Let's take a look. Olivia?
Seems Digger was in behind, and all they had to do was have that finishing ball, but the heart to absolutely get back on that play and, you know, put your body on the line to get yourself behind that ball to keep that ball from being in the back of the net is a big thing for this youth national team, and it's a theme that all of them are defending very well together.
Chandler, you would have put that away, right?
I like to tell myself I put them all away. It was a very good build-up play, though. I'm very shocked that it didn't go in the back of the net.
That's a
So
promise.
kudos to the youth team.
Promising transition, right? As we say. So we were mentioning some of our cliche terms, right? I'll add one. Shoot or shoot. Shoot or shoot.
Gonna shoot. Shooter's gonna shoot.
It's all part. A foot race, and then Jordan Jarvis sends it to the side.
Jordan Jarvis wanted a home run of his own.
You know, we've been covering games for some time here at the Binyan Stadium. You guys have been training here also, right? The women's team of Stallion. Have you noticed anything with the wind conditions or the wind direction? Was there any personal observations on your end? As part of home field advantage, let's put it that way.
I mean, usually we're here really early. I wish there was some wind when we were here.
So no wind in the morning. I think it's at the night. It's at night.
It gets a bit of a heavy breeze.
There's a breeze, of course. I'm not counting the electric fan that we have to our side. But it was dangerous earlier. Eric Giganto got it out calmly. When it's back to Sandejas, gets to clear to Bengson. Bengson could not secure. Modo Mane wants to make him pay the price. And it is a yellow. When I was saying pay the price, it was more of a scoring opportunity. But a yellow is as costly, right? Don't you girls think?
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I think he thought that he should foul instead of letting him run, so, you know.
Duty foul.
I mean, just like Cha said, you got to do what you got to do. If I'm Zendejas in that play, I'm thanking Bengtson for taking the L, as some people like to say, taking that yellow card for the team.
I don't know how to comprehend that. Taking the L.
He had to take a loss there. He had to take a loss to keep the team up.
For the greater good.
There you go. Duty foul. But it eventually leads to a goal here for Manila Digger. They get one on the board after plenty of searching. But we will dissect that in a bit when it comes to duty fouls. That's what we wanted to mention also. Pass Sandejas in. And Kevin Bennett Mokata.
It was a good finish. He placed that very well. It was a good ball by Ziggy.
There you go.
Just all by himself. It seems the youth national team got a bit lazy on marking their runners and let Kevin just absolutely walk in behind and get his head on the end of that fantastic ball from Ziggy.
And we were mentioning earlier that Ziggy Taninko is a top player when it comes to assists.
He bumped up now.
He bumped up now.
Bumping up.
He's in good company. He's tied with Oli Bias Olivier, someone who has national team caps. We're sure that Ziggy Tonico would like to get up to that level someday.
I like Ollie Bias. He's a good player.
Enjoyed to watch in the wings. He was absolutely balling when he introduced himself. He actually made his debut for the national team in the pandemic in the World Cup qualifiers. They play it. Some of the Digger players thought they were offside.
That goal is a bit unfortunate for the national team because they've been defending so well together. I think just that one lapse of judgment and that one, miscommunication can cost you. And it definitely cost them in that moment.
And when we were talking about taking the L, we were not saying that was going to lead to a goal. But sometimes you just got to come up with that stop to delay the attack, right? Mm-hmm. Better to give up a free kick than to leave the goalkeeper alone for a 1v1 or something. Mm-hmm. It just so happens that, bouncing off what you said, Liv, the defense of the youth national team were switched off a bit.
Mm-hmm. I think, when you make those fouls in and around that box, that's the risk you take when you give that up. And, I absolutely despise when my defenders give up fouls in and around the box because there's some amazing free kick takers, especially when you put Ziggy on a ball like that. He definitely made it known that he's one of the top players in assists in this league, and that's the risk you have to take when you have to give up that foul there. So you have to be better and more collect as a team in defending free kicks on top of the box.
And we also pointed out earlier in the season that Taninko is a young player. And just to be precise, he is actually eligible to play in the next Southeast Asian Games. So he's technically eligible to play for this youth national team.
Wow.
Well, we are sure
That's
that Coach
young.
Sergi is also keeping an eye on Ziggy Taninko and all the other players who are eligible. But of course, with this setup, they're establishing that system, that familiarity, giving plenty of exposure. A bit of the pull from Valenzuela. Yep, we saw that in front of us. But a 1-0 game so far. Things going the way of Manila Digger. Chandler, would you have any assessment on how this game's going so far?
Like Olivia said earlier, I think it is still a good game, even though it's 1-0. Diggers has had some chances that they've missed because of the youth team's defense, but I also think that the youth team has had a lot of chances still, and I think that they just need to respond well after this goal and still push hard because, I still think it's anyone's game. I think both teams are doing very well. I'm curious to see how the next 5 minutes will play out.
When you're talking about responding, do you think the national team needs any improvements with X's and O's? But first, it's a looping header that was definitely out for Dylan Wambatafem. But do you think it's more of that mindset, or are you expecting changes already with tactics, given we're 37 minutes into the game?
I think they just need to continue with the mindset that they've had the whole game. I think that they still need to continue, taking their chances.
Here's a look at that header. What went wrong there for Wambatafem, given he could not get this one on target?
I think he jumped too early.
Too early.
But I'm not a header expert, so don't ask me. I think he just mistimed the cross, but it was still a good opportunity.
We know you like to use your boot, but Eric Giganto saved it. As you mentioned, it will be in the corner. Felonco wins it in an advanced position. And Bene Mukata. Almost another one, but not quite. Olivia is applauding the effort of, you can say, fellow national team goalkeeper, right? Because you girls play for the national team. It's Jaime Sandejas once more. Here you go, Olivia. It's the goalkeeping department. May you?
Oh, he gets down in his block and he gets his hand right where he needs it to be, and he makes a great 1v1 save there.
But it's another one. Desperate defending. It hit the woodwork. I think there is like a tarp. There's a tarp blocking the goal right now.
I think that they are responding very well.
But you also have to credit Hawaii's defense for just holding on. We'll look at the replay in a bit also. Here comes Motumane. They want to make amends. But I believe it was his touch there that let him down. Here's the strikers department, Chandler.
Oh,
Ouch.
It's just super unfortunate. I don't know what happened. Maybe he missed it? Looked like he kind of tripped a little.
He miskicked
Yeah.
it and hit it absolutely straight up into the top post.
Unfortunately, that's the life of a striker. I mean, we miss easy ones sometimes, but I think as long as he just shakes it off and keeps going, it'll be fine. They're still getting chances.
As a goalkeeper, seeing that ball at the other end of the field, seeing a forward not put that ball away is one of the most frustrating things
Okay.
to have to watch.
You try to do it then.
A slight tap into the net is all that we ask for.
Well, look at how good the youth team's defenders were doing. I mean,
Exactly.
give credit. Yeah, but that's just unfortunate. I've been in his shoes. That sucks. I feel his pain.
Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. I see you guys are taking sides now when the way we're breaking down this game. Well, it's extra insight, of course, given that we have two of you guys to break down the action. Oftentimes, there would be one commentator. At times, there would also be a commentator assisted by a former player, a current player, or an expert analyst, as we also call them. Now, those were definitely memorable saves. Any memorable saves from your career, Olivia? Top of your mind?
Whenever someone asks me this question, I think their first thoughts go to, the save against New Zealand in the World Cup or in the penalty shootout to be able to, make it to the World Cup. But I think my most memorable save that I have is, one of my first games I was ever capped for the national team. It wasn't a huge save, but it just was really memorable for me in the way that, it kind of solidified, being a part of the national team and, kind of making my stake on the team. And it was in that first game of the Women's Asian Cup against Thailand where we had our first win against them 1-0 where Chandler scored the winning goal. And so it was memorable in the way that it was memorable for the entire team and both of us.
And I think that went to the face of Sandejas.
I definitely think that was his face.
He did not
Yeah.
intend to use his face, of course, but he was positioned well, got his body on the line.
Taking
That's
it for the team.
That's definitely gotta hurt.
That's going to be memorable for him.
I've
I
done
think,
that
as
to
well.
Olivia. Ooh. Great save, though.
This is the life of a goalkeeper, everybody. Just so we're all aware. This sometimes it gets you in the face and you just have to take it because that's your job.
Of course, or I assume he wanted to use his hands, but that happens sometimes, right? But with the striker, I'd like to think he did his job.
Actually, last season, while we wait for him, we had Sammy Hughes on our team.
Yes.
The first day at practice, I hit her square in the face 2 times.
Ouch.
Yeah, I don't think she was happy with me.
But then a couple days later, she hit her in the face again.
Yeah.
Third time's the charm. That means you meant it.
So then every single time Chandler went up to shoot, Sammy would come up to me and say, "Liv, can you go in the goal when Chandler's shooting, please?" And I go, "Of course, no worries."
I thought you were going to say your most memorable saves were any of the ones I shot on you.
Oh, sometimes.
We did see Coach Kim Rosales and Ziggy Tanico making some adjustments in the game. Same goes for Kent Valenzuela and Coach Sergi Mascarel. Coach Kim, obviously a happier coach so far in this game. And as expected, Jaime Sandejas being built tough. It's okay to continue. He still seems a little bit shaken up though. But with you guys talking about training, Roberto Llamas, your goalkeeper coach, they post a picture of training. Oh, it was still tryouts. And good thing he did not give me a proper reply because I went, Coach, can I try out? He obviously got the humor there.
Rob's a character.
A Barley. It's the connection into the wing and past the keeper. That was a Meg. But rather than celebrations, it feels more like a sigh or it's more like relief that Manila Digger managed to get on the scoreboard. Let's break it down here, girls.
Once again, I think just poor marking inside the box. He was left all by himself. You know, no communication, and he's all alone, right on top of the 6, and he's got all the time in the world to place that right through Zendejas' legs.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can't leave Kevin open in the box. He's shown that he's going to shoot, so kind of gave him that one.
Right before we could continue off, this was launched by Eric Giganto. But their team, they are loving it. You could see Modumani giving him that high five. And Kevin just put it away, as you guys said. There was that build up on the left. There was Kevin Mukata connecting with Modumani. And then you add Eric Giganto to the mix, of course. Here comes Ziggy doing his thing. Almost led to another goal, batted away desperately by Santejas. It's with Valenzuela. Is he gonna get past Kame? He did for a bit, but sent this out. 4 minutes of additional time. And in the different levels that you guys have been able to compete in, some venues may have timers, the clock to show how many minutes. Some venues have it, some do not. But you guys often look for that. As a broadcaster, maybe even with fans, we look for that timer, of course, so we could just gauge things. Do you guys have that mentally at least? Or do you go, oh no, there's no timer here, I need to change up the way I approach the game?
For me personally, I'm always trying to know the time and check and see how my game needs to be played in a way where if there's a lot of time left, I know that, I can move a little bit faster on the ball. But, if we're up a couple goals and, we want to run the game clock out, and it's all about game management.
And as a striker, Chandler, you have to make your adjustments too, right? If you have to press or if you have to stay with your midfield block.
Yeah, I prefer when the fields have a clock, but of course not every field has one. But like you said, especially if I need to know how much time's left, if it's like a tied game, if we have to high press. So seeing a clock definitely helps. So if you don't have one, you kind of, luckily everyone's been playing for so long, you can guess.
You get a feel for it, right?
You can have an estimate of where you're at.
Well, me, of course, as a broadcaster, or maybe even with the fans, we get carried away sometimes. Oh, how many minutes are there left? We do ask each other from time to time. Some of us actually bring out a clock on our phone, or we have the stopwatch, each to their own. And it would help out people who'd approach us and ask how many minutes would we have left. But I've been wanting to ask that actually for quite some time. So it's like you have that dialed in already in your head from all the years of experience, we could say.
Mm-hmm. I still vote that they should put a clock here, though.
Me personally, I think it helps game experience. Mm-hmm. I see some people, what they do is they keep the live stream open in their phone while being at the venue, and they get the full experience, as I'd like to call it. Wamba Tafem, he was facing resistance from Ramil Batyon. And the cross from Ebarle was stopped by the defense. So it's a throw-in from deep. It was not a corner. Lebarnes did struggle to control that ball. But just like that, it is our halftime whistle. It is 2-0 for Manila Digger. But after quite a frustrating effort, we could say. We'll break it down also later on before we resume this game. Well, what a game, or what an effort so far from Jaime Sandejas. He's gotten shaken up. Coach is just taking a look. He appears to be okay. This Digger team, of course, definitely not satisfied. They're going to head to the dugout, and let's see, of course, how both teams will be able to adjust after the halftime break.
Currently at the halftime break right here at the Binyan Football Stadium, and we'll take you through the highlights in a bit. It is 2-0. It is Manila Digger in the lead again over the PFF Youth National Team. Quite a half as players are taking it to the pitch. But let's see the highlights. Olivia and Chandler, do you mind running us through what went on in this game?
Yeah, so I think it was a bit, half and half early on in the game, but then Diggers really came alive and had many chances, but skied a couple and some great saves from Zendejas as well, and a couple, crosses, balls over the net, but at the end of the day, Kevin put a couple balls in the back of the net for them off a corner kick. Or no, not a corner kick, a free kick, sorry. A free kick from Ziggy and then a cross from the left side through the Zendejas' legs.
And we see it became mainly traffic from left to right. Any impressions, Chandler, in the way this game has been going for us?
I think that the Diggers' right side of their attack has been getting through a lot. There's been a lot of chances, some good, some not good. I think that they're doing a very good job of breaking the youth team down, but I still also think that the youth team is doing a very good job. I mean, they're still getting some chances. They've shown a lot of heart getting back on defense, and I think they just need to come back out with a strong mentality, and I think that they could still get a goal or two in this game.
And here was that chance that they did get to put away. Kevin Ibere Mukata sent that to the back of the net. A brace so far for Kevin Ibere Mukata. And Carl Absalon will enter the game. It's not often actually in the university ranks that we see Carl Absalon come off the bench. But this is the national team, let's not forget. So we have some changes being made for the youth national team and Manila Digger. And given how this game has been so action-packed, we've been getting into so much detail. We did not get to mention that Dylan De Broeker was on the bench for Manila Digger and entered the game right at the halftime mark. And Dylan, a former member of the U22 and the senior national team of the Philippines. And we could say it's a welcome back to Dylan De Broeker, because he was out for some time due to injury. I think he got his rude welcome back on the pitch already, as we gave our nice welcome back. The national team trying to brew something in the wing. Tov Carino did get stopped.
I think that's just the start that the youth national team is looking for, and if they want to try and get back into this game. And catching Manila Diggers flat-footed and off guard, I think will really help them in taking initiative going into the second half.
Seems like they're trying to start strong, because yes, the score is 2-0, but mentally, I'd like to think you get to reset in your mind, right? You came from the halftime break, you got to take some of your notes already, you got to sit down and rest a little bit.
I mean, our coach always tells us that 2-0 at halftime is one of the most dangerous scores for soccer. I mean, the team that's up 2-0 always can come out complacent, or they can come out hard. So I think that the national team, if they come out hard and, doing these big hits and showing that they're still in the game, is a very good step for them. And I think that it could really help them in the game.
But sometimes in a scoreline like this, I like to see the next goal is the most important one. The next goal will allow Digger to ice this game. If youth national team scores, they're back in it. But as we speak, the youngsters gave up this foul. That's why Dine Barle will put the ball in a dangerous area again. He's been doing that as of late from that full-back role. Here comes the service. Marino got his head to it, but it's with Wamba Tafem. It's Ziggy. Sails over the bar.
It's ambitious, but it's okay. Like we said, shooters shoot.
And you miss the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Did we mention another one also? There was a list.
No, it was. We were laughing about when I said take the L, and you didn't know.
Take the L. Yep. But we meant that, of course, in giving up a tactical foul.
Yes, of course.
Nice way to put it.
I think the national team did a better job at holding their line on that set piece. So I think them doing that will go a long way for them in building up for SEA Games.
And if they join SEA Games, they hope to be there also, just like you guys. It's the U22s who'd play for the men's football tournament, right? And then it is the senior women's national team who would play in the women's football tournament.
Yes, I don't know why it's different. That
Well-
always confused me. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
do you
know
know
why.
why they do that, Clara?
It took some time to understand it, of course. But you see how the Olympics, you'd have the U23s play for men's, and then it would be the seniors for you guys. So the SEA Games is pretty much the Olympics for Southeast Asia. That's why they adopt that format.
I see.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
So with the U22 supposedly playing in the SEA Games, that's to prepare also for the AFC competitions.
Right.
But you two did have a chat though with Kuya Shraki earlier at the halftime break. From time to time, they'd allow teams in the SEA Games to field an overaged player. That was back in 2019 actually, when Finn did play in the SEA Games.
Yes, his first one. That was exciting
That was
for the
really
whole
cool.
family.
And then the overaged player for the Philippines was Shraki.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, sure did maximize that spot. And I'm not saying it because of Kuya Shraki's age, because he'd kill me for that. It's because Shraki's Shraki. He'll casually get you the man of the match. He could not believe he got man of the match last weekend, actually.
We were also a little shocked that Kuya Shraki got it. Not that he didn't do good, but usually it's just whoever scores the most goals, but it's okay. We were happy that the team won.
It's the way Shraki essentially became the midfield because his team was trimmed to 10 players that time.
Yeah, again.
Oh, true.
That tends to be happening to us recently. They're just really testing us. They're testing the fans.
Recently with the national team? Not the national team, right?
No, the Stallion men team.
Oh, okay, for the men's team of Stallion. Dov Carino loses it, succumbs to the pressure of Dine Barle. Played it quickly now. Modu Mane. He could not connect though with Ebene Mokata. But let's look at it this way. Saiku Cisse is on the bench, right? So he could potentially add fuel to this offense of theirs and potentially get them that game-winning or that game-clinching goal.
When we talked to him earlier, he seemed to be wanting both the most amount of goals in this league and the championship.
As this one just sailed past and in. It's past Sandejas. It's a hat trick
It's a
for
hattie.
the man with the number 30 jersey, in Kevin Ebene Mukata.
Nothing like scoring a hat trick. That's a great feeling.
I wouldn't know.
Oh, I want to know too. Chandler, can you break down that finish?
That was a very. The cross was. They're really curling those right into Kevin's head. Kevin just seems to be at the right place at the right time. He always seems a little wide open, so he's creating some good spaces, but he got a third one.
But when it came to the goalkeeper aspect, Olivia, was there something that Sandejas was lacking? Because he did see the ball was going to his right.
Sometimes when the ball comes off the head of a player, it comes off a little foreign, and sometimes it comes off a little with a bit of a different spin, and so sometimes it's hard to tell how fast the ball is traveling and where it will exactly be traveling to, and the close range of it all as well. I think it was really difficult for him, and can't really blame him on that one.
Well, Sandejas did keep the score a lot closer when you look at it in the grand scheme of things. So he still gets his stamp of approval from Filipinos goalkeeper, Olivia McDaniel.
He's put in a shift today, for sure.
But
Unfortunately, his day is not over yet.
is that why but when we talk about Kevin Ebene Mokata, is that why his jersey is number 30? Because when you look at the score, right?
That's funny.
He was manifesting.
Manifesting it, of course. Diagonal ball over to Wamba Tafem. Let's see what Dylan will do. Oh, it's Dylan to Dylan now.
We're sure Dylan De Broeker is in that process of getting a feel for playing a competitive game once more. But given that he's made an appearance for Digger, I'm confident he's been putting in training sessions with them. And a big boost, of course, with him being an experienced Philippines international, as we've mentioned.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he's going to do in this midfield. See if he sends in some through balls or not. He did get a hard hit in earlier, so see how he has responded to that.
Hard hit on top of the box. A dangerous free kick for Manila Diggers in this range. They've already scored one in the first half. I wonder if they'll put Ziggy on this or maybe one of their shooters, as we like to say.
I know Ibarle has also taken a couple. Those ones right on the top of the box in the middle, they're not as easy as people think. The ones in the middle are very hard to shoot.
I'd say it's easy to set up a wall towards the middle, the central side for free kicks, because your wall is basically covering half of that goal, and then the goalkeeper will be in charge of the other half. So, you know, if it goes up and over that wall into that front post space, I'm applauding whoever's hitting that ball. But if I get scored on that back post, I know I'm getting yelled at after the game.
Given that's a quadrant you're supposed to cover, right? But
Yep.
this is not fair. It's Ziggy and Dean who get to take it.
I always say if a wall is set up correctly and that ball goes straight into that wall, the goalkeeper has done their job.
They whipped it back. Jordan lobbed it almost, but shy of the far post.
Interesting. Jordan Jarvis finds himself playing the 9 for a couple seconds and wanting to get a piece of the action.
Such a center back thing to do.
I know a couple center backs who like to do that.
Do you mind giving names?
Oh, one of your favorites. Maybe Mr. Incredible.
So my favorite Mr. Incredible, as Olivia said, a center back who likes to get forward and score. I ask, of course, because in youth sports you have more opportunities, right? As he hit it now, Dylan Wambatafem, cross, unselfish. Eric Giganto collects. And a handball here.
That's unlucky.
Manila Digger got the number they dialed, so it's going to be served on a silver platter. But I believe there's a difference sometimes if the hand is extended,
I was just
if you
about
know
to
what I'm
say,
saying.
It's so confusing sometimes. Looking back, it was extended,
yeah.
so I fear there was nothing else you could do.
But now
That is
there's
a
like,
PK.
if it's in a natural position,
Yeah.
I don't know, they keep changing the rule. I
The
don't
rule-
even know the rule.
Before he takes this kick, they put us through a 2-hour refereeing course before the World Cup and gave us all of the rules on handballs and whatnot, and I'm still confused.
They taught me new rules there.
Really?
Yeah, 24 years old. I was like, what's happening here?
So it is Eric Giganto stepping up. He wants to join the scoring party.
Oh,
Shoots and scores here.
that was a very nicely done PK. Keeper guessed right. Unfortunate for him. I don't
Zendejas
think he
almost
could've.
got his hand on it, but
Yeah, he had good power on it. I don't
good
think
power, good placement.
Yeah.
Nothing you can really much do about that.
Eric Giganto joins the scoring party here.
very nicely placed. I give that PK a 9 out of 10.
I think he hit it with the side of his boot, right?
The inside, yeah.
But welcome to the goal scorers party today, Eric Giganto.
Kevin shares the wealth today.
Kevin 3, Eric Giganto 1. That is the breakdown of goal scorers for this afternoon for this powerhouse squad, Manila Digger. And that is Eric Giganto's first of the season, actually. Really more of that veteran in the wing, as Pation wanted to come up with something, but definitely difficult.
It's nice to see that the youth team is still pressing, though, even though the score may not be what they want, they're still pressing and trying to go to goal, so that's always good to see that they haven't given up yet.
Well, with that, it's about them growing into this game again. But just going back with Eric Giganto, our goal scorer, he did enter this day with 3 assists so far in this season. And actually looking at the goal that made it a hat-trick for Ebere Mokata, Ziggy Taninko did assist that for his number 6.
Oh, he bumped up again.
Once more, Ziggy's been on a roll. And some interesting reactions from the two of you after that foul that we saw at the half line.
I'd have to see a replay. I don't even know.
Looking at, the leading goal scorers and the leading assists of the league right now, Manila Diggers really loves to share the wealth on this team. I mean, you've got so many assists, so many goal scorers. They really spread the wealth.
It's very spread out
throughout the forwards.
That makes it harder to defend against because it's not like just one person. Because even though Cisse has 7 or 16 goals, there's still however many people who have 7. I mean, they have, of the 3 top goal scorers, they have 2 of them, which is pretty impressive. So how many goals do they have? Total?
For Digger as a team?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that right here.
They got a lot of goals under their belt.
So Manila Digger, statistically speaking, have the best offense in the league, given that they've scored 42 goals already. I'm including the 4 that they've forwarded today.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Clever play, Absalon.
Oh!
Almost, but not quite. The follow-up. Spectacular defending from Manila Digger. Asong is loving the effort here from his defenders. Dove Carino! He would have made that 9 times out of 10, but it hasn't been his day.
Seems that touch came off Manila Digger, and the national team's going to get another chance at that.
That was a good little trick corner play. That was a good shot. Unlucky.
It was stopped, hence it's a corner. The FEU connection. Aban, Absalon, and Valenzuela. Digger fans not happy with that. I think they wanted it to go their way. It will be the Karaig throw-in. So we have half an hour remaining until additional time. It seems like it is cruise control for Manila Digger.
Oh my gosh.
The long throw.
That was crazy. How do you throw it that far?
And it looks like we have someone else joining the list of long throwers now, actually. Oh, but it's perfect. We're talking about long throws because there's actually a player for Minjola who would cartwheel before the throw-in.
Yes, we watched that because we were still at home.
We were here, yeah. And weren't we here?
No, we were in the States.
Oh, sorry.
Because remember, they had to move the pole thing for him.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was crazy. Oh, maybe we'll see it again tonight.
Exactly. Ebere Mokata into the danger area. Eric Giganto almost bounces. But Santeas and the youth national team defense escape once more, but just by the skin of their teeth. But we have a double change now, or it's in a bit actually for Digger. I beg your pardon. It's not Sudya who's the playing coach actually, but Sudya will enter. So some mistaken identity on my end. So Sudya will enter along with Nishoka. It's Taninko once more. Well, Carino got the clearance. Edgar Rabin to chase. So it looks like they're still holding that sub. But going back with these tumbling throw-ins, I was mentioning in the broadcast, I believe there was a Filipinas player who did it actually with her club or school.
Yes,
Please
Alicia
correct.
Barker.
Oh, there you go.
She did that?
She did, yeah.
Oh, I must have.
And then
not
she
been
came
there.
to the team, and I said, Alicia, if you ever do that,
Yeah.
I will no longer be speaking to you.
It's an odd trait to have. I couldn't do it.
What happens when you mess up and then you give
Yeah.
it away?
But this
nice
late.
save again.
Fantastic save from Zendejas.
That was a good shot outside the box.
That was a laser-like shot, courtesy
Not
of
shot
Modu
it.
Mane.
But that was a good chance for Diggers. Your keeper is a good shot stopper, Olivia. Oh yeah, that was a good shot. That was a good save.
Really great save.
It's a good shot, but an even better save. So Sudyao and Kenji Nishioka will enter. And it is a well-deserved break or rest for Noy Filonco and Eric Giganto. That's quite a message, subbing off your midfield veterans. As it's a goal once more, and now it is Modu Juf who will join that goal scorers list. Juf actually did get a man of the match performance earlier in this season, and now he has this goal.
Diggers seems to really be capitalizing on all their set pieces.
Yeah, there's nothing Zendejas could do on that one. He's being blocked in front by his zoning defenders and sees it late, and there's just nothing he can do about it.
Juf looked wide open. Easy goal for him. I know he's going to be very happy with that one.
But that's got to hurt with youth national team, given how they were looking to bounce back after conceding their fourth, but things went the opposite way. But less than 30 minutes remaining in this game. Any candidates for man of the match here?
I mean, the man who gets the hat trick, I'd have to say, has got to be man of the match. I mean,
I would hope so.
Kevin Ebene Mukata.
So it's on course now for Ebene Mokata. Given the way he's played also, he's putting quite an effort in splitting this or dissecting this defense of this young national team squad.
Yeah, he's done a good job at staying in the open spaces and finding all the gaps and finishing some. He's missed a couple, but at the end of the day, he's put in 3, so no coach is going to be too upset with him.
Tov Carino, Leo Lebarnes got his pocket picked. But with this youth national team squad, they were looking to get offense, or Kent Valenzuela and Edgar Aban were looking to lead the way offensively. Because for defense, there's the likes of Joshua Merino. But they hit the side netting here. Modu Mane wanted to get another one up on the board for the team in red and white in Manila Digger. Youth national team again in gray and black.
That was a good run. Good touch. I also would have gone high front post, so that was a good chance. Unlucky that missed the goal frame.
So do you think there's a bit of that execution, maybe a slight mistouch of the ball? Is that how we see it?
I think it's always a little bit harder to hit it when it's on the bounce because you have to really judge it as you're in full stride, and he was sprinting. So, I mean, I think he just mishit it a little, but I still think it was a very good run. People always think that those are a lot easier than they actually are.
Well, you guys, and I'm talking about high-level players, always make it look easy, I will say. Because
Until we sky it, yeah.
home run. Wrong sport. But Valenzuela bringing it 1-on-4. You can make it 2-on-4. Valenzuela over to Dov Carino. Sigita Ninko, the defensive header. Carla Solano's quite wide, but it's with Ramil Batyon. They knock it wide to Dov Carino. The national team calling or playing their game. And I'd like to call that commentator's curse, where you say something's working and then it's given up. Happens sometimes. Here comes Kevin again. Flag definitely down.
Oh, great.
Sandeas, the super sub.
Another great save from Zendejas.
Yeah, those one-on-ones are always difficult when you're a striker and the goalkeeper comes out. Really makes you second guess what you're going to do. He did good on that one.
But with the way Sandez has been getting plenty of touches, he is sure accelerating his growth as a player. This is what the youth national team is out to do again, especially with these players being mainly amateurs.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's still having a fantastic game, even though the score may not show it. I mean, he's had a lot of saves, and to still come out strong, even though these players keep coming at him, is a big deal.
So if we actually update our goals tally, so Manila Digger, they've been able to forward 43 goals in 12 games. So that's the best offense in the league so far. It's a big gap because right below them is Kaya with 34 when we talk about goals scored.
Wow, that is a big... That's almost 10 goals.
They're placing themselves in good positions to try and overtake the top spot.
It's a foot race. Mike Asong came out for a bit, but casually just covered by Modu Juve. And they'll play it again. Well timed, it seems, from Benemukata. Shoots and scores. That's what happens when Kevin shoots.
He was
4 goals now here.
He was not going to be unselfish on that one. He wanted it.
I would like to think that Saiku Sise is actually jealous.
I think he is. I was going to say earlier, I think he's wanting to get up. That was a great timed run. Stayed on sides. I wasn't sure if he was going to lay it off, but you know, as a striker, you usually are a bit more selfish, and you don't want the assist. You'd rather have the goal yourself. Good finish. He's on fire. He's happy with himself. He's gonna. If I was him, I would keep shooting. I wouldn't pass anything.
But that's all part.
Is a true forward.
That's all part of it, right? You have that rhythm as a player also.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as a striker, if you're feeling 100%, then you should just take it and run with it. Keep going. You want your striker to feel like that, so that's good. But as you said earlier, yes, I would imagine that Cisse wants on the field.
Well, the single game record for goals in this season is Saiku Cisse. He did score 6 against the youth national team. Sandez gets this one.
I think Kevin's trying to give him a run for his money.
I think he is too. He's trying. If I was Cisse, I would be like, warm me up. I want it. I want in on the action.
Saiku Cisse did say he is fasting because of Ramadan. So it seems they're not opting to risk playing him while he is fasting. Some of our Muslim brothers and sisters, as we know, would fast given the scenarios, not scenarios, but given their faith. But considering that they are playing without their top striker, when you take a look at the scoreline, this shows that Manila Digger is absolutely stacked.
Yeah, like Liv had mentioned earlier, their goals are really spread out, even though they have some of the top goal scorers. They have goal scorers in the 5th or 6th position. I mean, Mane at the 3rd leading goal scorer, Guy at the 5th, and then everyone else. I would assume Kevin's gonna be up there soon after today.
That is correct.
It's really good to have so many people score for one team. It makes it a lot harder to play against them. So it's pretty impressive to have that many goal scorers on your team.
And I think he is listening to the broadcast because Saiku Cisse will enter along with Elias Ugu. Ugu actually someone or a name we know from playing Sunday League football. And he's trying to elevate himself and get up to this level. But just when we thought the game was over with the scoreline, they're inserting the big gun.
Do we think, in the amount of time that's left, that Cisse could put a couple more goals in front of Kevin?
I think he's gonna try. I think as the leading goal scorer coming in when it's already 6-0. You know the goalkeeper and the defense is tired and they might not be as in high spirits as before. I think that he's going to take everything himself and try to score, because I think that's what the best forwards would do. They would try to score themselves. So I think it'll be interesting.
And of course, with Manila Digger being true professionals, I think I'd like to think also, and I'd hear this from colleagues, even when you're up by a lot, you still have to play at 100 or 110% as part of respecting your opponent, right?
Of
and
course.
giving them the best that they deserve. And whether we're talking about a striker or we're talking about defenders, goalkeepers, they also want to give their all every game, I'd like to think, because you have to use this game to prepare also for your game next week. And it's that process that goes on and on.
Unfortunately, I've been on both sides of a scoreline like this. And, respecting your opponent, I think, is the biggest thing, where when you see a lopsided scoreline, you want your opponent to respect you, that they'll give their all the entire 90 minutes. And on the opposite side of that, I'm not going to let up just because the scoreline's a bit higher.
Yeah, for instance, this happened to us. Who was that? Well, we were up by a big margin last season, and then we weren't paying attention and we got scored on. So you never know what can happen. The youth team can still surprise us and get a goal.
Was that the game where Olivia played striker? I think I was watching that live stream.
No, that was after.
After, okay.
And to be fair, Olivia went in as striker because I got hurt.
Okay.
True.
I think that was Taloy, maybe?
Where we got scored on, or where
we got
up
scored
top?
on.
Yeah.
Taloy. Yeah, Ben Doha.
I would like to say I did get an assist when I went in.
She did,
at
yes.
the wing. Actually, I think I played like 4 different positions. I played the 10, the 9, the right, and the left wing. So.
Starts at goalkeeper, plays defender, midfielder, and striker. That's Olivia McDaniel. But you live in the McDaniel household. I know they count goals as their currency, not assists.
That is very true.
True.
Cross again.
Or clean sheets.
Oh, there you go. Given that you are the goalkeeper, of course. We are awaiting a triple sub for Coach Sergi Mascarel. They'll give some valuable game time. But because despite of the scoreline that we see, one way or another, this is still experience for players. Every second counts, every minute counts.
Yeah, I think, like Sergey, the coach said, the main importance for the youth team is that they learn, and their main focus is the SEA Games. So I think that, you don't want to lose this bad, but there's still so much to learn. And I think that off the goals they were scored on, I think that it's very fixable things. Most of them were off set pieces. So, to only give up majority of goals during set pieces compared to the run of play, that's a lot easier to fix. So I still think that there's some valuable things to learn in this game, and I think that they will take it and they will just do well and prepare for the next game, because, as he said, they're taking it game by game.
And of course, that will allow them to get opportunities to adjust their system, adjust their X's and their O's. It's Dean Ibarle. Dean to Dylan, it did not work out there. And here's the triple sub that we were anticipating earlier. Sian Galsim, Edward Omitade, and Selwyn Mamon will enter. The players stepping off, there is Theole Barnes, and there's also Karaig and Dov Carino. I know we were also talking about center backs who've gotten to score. I will say credit to Jordan Jarvis, because he tried to get forward earlier. He did score the lone goal in their win versus 1 Taguig.
Yes, we do remember that.
As it's it was sent well to the middle, but no good. Everyone anticipating that here at the Binyan Football Stadium, especially the Manila Digger fans in attendance. Let's take a look at that one.
That was a great through ball. They really do. Diggers, what I would assume based off their practices is they practice a lot of crosses, because they have sent in a lot of crosses the whole game from both sides. So it looks like that's clearly one of their main tactics when they're at practices.
And on the opposite end of that, I think PFF still staying strong with those last ditch, defensive tackles, and I think that's just the show of their desperation to still, even as the game is 6-0 and they're trying to stop the bleeding, but the desperation to still keep the ball out of the net is still so important to them.
The breaker hit it wide. Wamba Tafem, it seems he only has full throttle and only full throttle when he hits that gas pedal. Over to Ugu. Dylan the breaker. He'll definitely teach them a thing or two, given he played at the U22 level, as we've mentioned. Sue. Ziggy. Seems like they're slowing this game down. 11 minutes remaining. And Modu Juve calling for it on the other side. Later on, we do have our second game of the day. It will be Minjola FC 1991 against Stallion Laguna FC. And Sandeas has secured this one, but they seemed quite tentative when we were referring to his back line. But hey, they get the stop. And you were mentioning the crosses with how Digger like to set up for games. Seems like it's no surprise because they do have a physically superior team. Not just because they're facing a much younger team, but they are one of the biggest teams in the PFL.
Yeah, they have some tall players, some strong players, so they seem pretty good in the air, so, playing to the team's strengths is always good.
The two youngsters down for the YNT.
Oh no, we have some cramps. That sucks.
And we assume that was from the heat because this game did start at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, it seemed hot on the field. We have our little fan, so I wouldn't know. But
Actually, we have a giant electric fan, not just a little fan.
It's pretty
It's
big.
very nice.
It's very nice. I'm sitting right next to it, and I can tell everyone that I'm very comfortable. No
So-
sweat.
Ramil Bation falling versus Kenji Nishioka. Manila Digger again without Guy and with Diego Aspiras. Aspiras actually the regular starter in the 6th position, or the holding midfield. But given I had to shove this question earlier, how's it like for you two actually? We can start with Chandler. You're a striker, so yes, you did say you're really not the type of player who would head in balls, but if you're playing against shorter opponents, is that something you go for? You adjust tactics if you're playing against a team that's shorter or even a team that's taller?
I think it's definitely something that the coaches will, remember and think about. But for our club team specifically, I know that we try to just always stick to the same tactics because, we try not to change too many major things, too many major tactical decisions when we're playing. But honestly, in this league, our team is usually one of the taller ones.
That's right.
So
Now we think about it.
we have some height on our team compared to some of the other teams.
But it is being brought up by Wamba Tafem, as we've said. He can only go full speed and just misses. Well, it seems that a defender got to it. And Sandes is shaking up on the turf, it seems. But Wamba Tafem wants to get on the board. Hey, he's up. They're up 6-0 and he does not seem happy at all.
Sometimes it happens, everyone wants a piece of the pie, so people start getting frustrated and they start going themselves instead of just remembering the tactics, so that can always get a little frustrating, but it's always hard when you're in front of the goal. Everyone wants the glory,
This one whipped into the danger area. Sekou almost got it. He's in disbelief.
Cissé's been quiet since he's entered the field, so it's his first little bit of action right there.
But I believe with Ramadan, as he mentioned, right, I think he can only start to take in fluids and food after the sun sets, if I'm correct. But how about you, Olivia? Do you have to change up anything if you have to play against much bigger, much taller players?
I mean, for how people play, I'd say is how I'd change my game. If if a team is sending through balls in all the time, I play a higher line. But if they're, seeming to be a higher press, I'd sit back a little bit. But me personally, I play a higher line no matter what, because I like to be a sweeper keeper, as they like to call them, and I love to be on the ball more than I probably should.
More than you probably should. Well, being a sweeper keeper, as we know, part of the modern game. But come to think of it, actually, when we look at it in the Asian perspective, the Philippines is actually quite tall when it comes to football. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I recall when you were playing in the last Asian Cup.
I think so.
With the men's national team, as Digger showing some technical ability. The men's national team quite average in height when it comes to football standards.
I think they've got a few that are above average, as Filipinos would be described as, but for the most part we tend to be on the smaller side. But at the same time, some may see that as a disadvantage as that ball goes out in the end line for a goal kick. It can be an advantage in ways that you're a bit quicker and lower to the ground, so your center of gravity is a bit easier to get around players and move a bit quicker. So there's always advantages in different things.
All part of the game, of course. And a big thank you for joining us right here at Matchday.ph. It is Manila Digger and the PFF Youth National Team. Things have been going the way of Digger. Kevin Abeni Mukata has been lighting up the scoreboard. He has 4, if my count is correct already. Have to double check given the quantity. And alongside Olivia and Chandler McDaniel, this is Clara Manzano as we are bringing the commentary for this game. Later on, there is Stalin Laguna and Minjola who will square off. Sandejas gets to clear this, not desperately, but he had to get that job done. Galsim, some of the players again who did play for the Ascos development team before. That was the youth national team setup prior to this team that was put. Mourinho just gets it. 4 minutes remaining. Seems Digger settling down a bit in the midfield. A long season ahead, come to think of it. But how do you girls see this? Because we do have the final series, right? It is not the top team after the double round robin who will be crowned as champion.
I mean, is there no tournament for this one? Or there is. There's a playoff.
There's a playoff, yes. It's the final series.
Right. Playoffs are hard. Sometimes I like playoffs, sometimes I don't. I mean, playoffs are nice if you're not the first place team, but of course if you are the first place team, you don't like the playoffs because it's like I already won. But, I would assume that the 4 teams would be, well, the second, third, and fourth place teams will be very happy with the playoffs because how does it work? I know that the first and second place teams get AFC, but is that before the playoffs or after the playoffs?
Oh, it's before the playoffs.
Okay.
So they push you to want to finish number 1 and number 2.
That's good then, I think. It'll be interesting. I mean, based off the standings, I would assume people have guesses or assumptions on who's going to be first and second, but I personally still think that some people might still come up in the standings, so.
Let's see what you guys are trying to say right there. But Manila Digger will top the table provisionally. As Mourinho got to stop provisionally because Kaya FC Iloilo will be playing later. It's Kaya with 28 points right now, Manila Digger with 27. But Digger will elevate to 30 points once we wrap up this game.
I'm curious to see the final score of the Kaya and Cebu game. That should be a good game.
So that game will actually kick off at 6 p.m. later. They'll be playing at the Dynamic Herbs Sports Stadium.
Playing in the cage.
It's quite a venue because the bleachers are so close to the field, right?
They're very close, yeah. They're really packed together. I actually went
You did?
last year.
Last year.
It was a lot of fun, actually. They do a really good job with their fans at that stadium. It was really fun. You really feel involved in the game. I was screaming. Sorry to whoever had to be behind me, but so all fun and games.
Dylan De Barker with his welcome back goal!
Left-footed.
Dylan De Barker has been out due to injury for some time. Manila Diggers signed him up, of course, for his experience. 7-0.
Coming off a knee injury to score a goal, that's got to be, well, that is a good feeling. I would know, actually. It's a very nice feeling. So, a very good shot. Ooh, kissed the post. He's very happy with that one, as he should be.
Once again, the time and space he has to turn and, take that touch and set himself up nice for that shot is just, the youth national team has been broken down, and it seems that the fight is maybe not be left with about a minute left to go.
So we're actually seconds away from getting additional time. It's all up to our fourth official, Jesus Abogado. 3 minutes, as he confirmed. There's a player from the YNT actually down. He's on the side of the pitch. What's it? It's a tough day once more here for the youth national team, the team in gray and black. But Manila Digger in red, yellow, and white in cruise control. It seems also it's impending that we'll have Kevin Ebene Mokata as our man of the match with his monstrous effort offensively. So Diao ran out of space.
Yeah, I would say at this point, I would hope the man of the match goes to Kevin. I think he's earned it with 4 goals. He's done a really good job at striker, even though he got subbed out. I think he really changed the game for Diggers because first, 30 minutes? Diggers was looking pretty frustrated. They weren't able to get a goal in until later in the half, so I think it was good that Kevin was still up there taking his chances and finished more than a couple, so I think he did a good job.
Actually, with you hoping, it seems that's going to be the case. With analysts, you get to choose who's the man of the match.
Oh, we choose?
Wow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Slightly off topic as a broadcaster, even when we call the UAAP, there was a game where 2 players stood out, and Matt Nieras was calling the game with Jing Ham Lang. So it was a tough decision. He named men of the match.
Oh.
So we were having a light moment at the time because Matt said he couldn't choose. And then he had to do some explaining to Bella and I, who were waiting because we were going to call the game after. But a tough game here. How do you want to keep things going? If you're the youth national team, how do you want to keep things going if you're Manila Digger?
I think if you're the youth national team, like when we spoke to Coach Sergey before the game, he had said that, they're just taking it day by day, and, these score lines don't define this team, and, they are working together as a group, day in, day out for a bigger purpose and a bigger goal. And obviously training every day to play for your country is something that a lot of people can't do. And so I think that there's a really big privilege in that. And I think he just really just appreciates and loves his group of young men, and they're just getting better every single day, and playing against high talent like this is really is going to prep them for the SEA Games coming up in December.
Speaking of the SEA Games, that's just some of the competitions you guys will be joining. The Filipinas. There's also the qualifiers for the Asian Cup. That's also pretty much the qualifiers for the World Cup, where the Philippines, you guys are definitely returning to.
Hope
Yes.
so.
We have a very busy schedule this year, so we are ready to tackle it.
And sometime in there we will be going and defending our title with the AFF as well.
Yes, for the Stallions. Oh, nice.
And
I think that's a fantastic way for them to end. That was a good goal too.
a late one, a consolation. Edgar Aban gets it. They would have liked to score that at a much earlier stage, understandably. Here's the cross.
It's a nice volley. I think that just shows, the whole heart that the team's had. They've been making defensive runs all game. They've saved some shots that should have been goals. They pushed till the very last minute of the game to get a goal. So I think that, despite the score, I still think that that's something that they should be praised for. I think they gave a lot of heart this whole game, and they never stopped.
So it is
They spoil Asong's clean sheet for the night.
no clean sheet for Mike Asong, and that goal is literally at the death of this game. You got to feel for Mike Asong. Yes, they win 7-1, but clean sheets hit you differently, right, Olivia?
Very much so. I do love a good clean sheet, and on games like this, when I don't get a clean sheet, I'm very upset.
But you are here at the broadcast panel today when you cover a game from kickoff to the full 90. That counts as a clean sheet.
True. I'll take my win. I will take my win.
We do appearances here, of course, when it comes to broadcasting and calling games. But it's a 7-1 result right here for Manila Digger. Offense coming from everywhere, but Kevin Abene Mokata led the way once more. And he did get a handful of goals. That's 4 goals.
That's
Goes-
not easy to do. 4 is a lot.
I was going to say that's not easy to count with myself, but it was great you guys were here, of course, and just breaking down the action. It was an absolute joy, and yeah, a big thank you, and a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you for having us.
It's been very fun, and it's always an honor to be commentating, especially with you, Claro. So, thank
Well,
you.
There goes Kevin.
there you go, Olivia. Do you mind breaking down Kevin's man of the match performance for us?
Yeah, I mean, 4 goals in, 80 minutes of play. I think, he really got his team off to a great start with, some balls that he skied over the net. I mean, I think that will to keep going and to keep shooting on goal and to get those goals in the back of the net to get, the team going and getting more goals. It's very important. I think it's very man of the match worthy.
And our next match, we do have Menjola FC 1991 and Stallion Laguna. But don't you also forget, over at Cebu, their match will kick off at 6 p.m. We've got Dynamic Herb Cebu FC hosting Kaya FC Iloilo. But before we pretty much wrap up, Chandler, we did mention, right, what's next for the national team. There were some great performances individually for these boys.
Yeah, there was some, of course, the keeper, Sandejas. I mean, he had an amazing game. If I was a forward, I would have been very frustrated with him. I mean, he came out and made some crazy saves despite the 7 goals. I think that he should be praised. It was a hell of a performance. I think that their back line, I think all 4 of them, I still think that they did a good job of, they kept going and they made some goal line saves. I mean, they had so much heart the whole time. They made runs that some people might not have. And then, of course, at the very end, Aban with the goal, I mean, to score in the last minute. And, like Olivia said earlier, we've been on both sides. So still have the heart and to keep going when you're down 7-0 is not easy. So it's very nice to see that they scored and that the whole team, I think, had so much heart. So it was really nice to see that even though the major score wasn't what they wanted, that they still were fighting till the very end.
They did go down, unfortunately, but they did go down swinging. But we will wrap up this game, and a big thank you again, as I've said, to the two of you for joining us. Our analysts who joined us to break down the action for this game. We've got Olivia McDaniel and Chandler McDaniel. And then this was Clara Manzano, your commentator for this one. It ends Manila Digger 7, Youth National Team 1.
Welcome to the Binyan Football Stadium for tonight's match in the Philippines Football League 2024-2025 between Manila FC 1991 and Salon Laguna FC. We thank you all for coming today and encourage you to visit the Philippines Football League Facebook page and the official PFL website, pfl.org.ph, for more details on the Philippines Football League. The passion, the power, the Philippines Football League on the rise. Use the hashtag PFL 2024